Hey there, it's William. Today we're going to fix a problem that's pretty common with Samsung dryers. If your unit starts but the drum won't turn, there are several different things that can be wrong. You might have a bad main PCB, a belt, thermal limiter, drum roller, idler pulley, belt switch, or motor. If that sounds like a lot to check, don't worry. We're going to show you how to check each one. Now before we dive in, go ahead and like this video and subscribe to our channel to get more appliance repair tips in your feed. With over 2 million products in stock and the know-how to help you do it yourself, we are AppliancePartsPros.com. First, we're going to grab a few tools. Today we'll need a multimeter, a Phillips screwdriver, a Flathead screwdriver, a dead blow hammer or mallet, an adjustable wrench, and a 14mm socket. Also, please remember that safety comes first. Don't forget to unplug your dryer or turn that breaker off before working on it. Now let's find out what's going wrong in this dryer. Our first stop is the main PCB. We're using our Phillips screwdriver to remove the 2 screws that hold the top panel at the back. Then we're moving the top panel to the back, lifting it up, and setting it to the side. With that out of the way, we're using our Phillips screwdriver to remove the 3 mounting screws that hold the main control housing to the front and side frame. Then we can carefully rotate the main control so that we can get access to the wires and make sure no bare wires are touching any metal. Now, since we're going to be testing for live voltage at this point, you'll need to be extra careful to protect yourself against electrical shock, which could potentially result in serious injuries. Please do not test live voltage if you're uncomfortable using a multimeter. Once you're ready, we can plug the power cord back in or flip the breaker back on and set our meter to volts AC, which has a symbol that looks like a V with a squiggly line. Then we can start a cycle and test from the brown wire at relay 5 to the brown wire at connection CN1. If there's not 120 volts AC and the display doesn't show an open door indicator, then that means the main control has failed and needs to be replaced. If there is 120 volts AC, like we see here on this dryer, then that means the main PCB is good and something else is causing the problem, so you'll need to keep troubleshooting. Next up is the belt. To check this part, we're stopping the dryer and unplugging the power cord since we won't need to do any more voltage tests. Then we can grab the belt and lift it up to see if it's broken. If you see any damage on the belt, then it'll need to be replaced. If it isn't damaged, then we'll need to keep troubleshooting. We're moving on to the thermal limiter now. To get there, now we're lifting up on the console and pulling it away from the dryer. We're disconnecting the wires behind the console on the right. Then we can lift up on the console and setting the console to the side. Now we're going to use our Phillips screwdriver to remove the 2 screws behind the door in front of the lint trap and the lint filter. We also need to remove the 4 screws at the top of the panel. Then we can slightly lift the front panel up and rotate it forward. Once we've done that, we can disconnect the door switch harness and completely remove the front panel. You can just set the front panel to the side for now. Now we're unlatching the wire retainers from the wire harness. Then we can use our Phillips screwdriver to remove the 5 Phillips screws from the top plate and set it to the side as well. We also need to disconnect the wire from the drum lamp. We're also removing the screws from the lint duct, pulling the duct down and setting it to the side. Next, we're removing the 4 Phillips screws from the front bulkhead and disconnecting the sensor bar wire connector. Now we can lift the front bulkhead up and pull it forward. At this point, we can reach back and remove the belt from the idler pulley. Once that's done, we can remove the drum and belt and set them to the side. Now that we have access to the thermal limiter, we can grab our meter and set it to continuity, which looks like a sideways Wi-Fi symbol. We're also removing the wires from the thermal limiter on the back of the blower housing on the right side and testing it for continuity. If it doesn't have continuity, it would need to be replaced. If it does have continuity, then we'll need to continue troubleshooting. Now let's check each drum roller and rotate them by hand. They should move freely. If one or more don't rotate freely, then they would need to be replaced. If they do rotate freely, let's keep troubleshooting. The idler pulley is our next check. We're rotating this part by hand as well, and it should rotate freely. If it doesn't rotate freely, then it would need to be replaced. You'll want to check for grooves that could have been cut into it by the belt, which is a good sign of it seizing up. If the idler pulley rotates freely and doesn't have grooves cutting into it from the belt, then we can keep troubleshooting. Now we're moving to the belt switch, which is next to the idler pulley. We're grabbing our multimeter and setting it to continuity again. Then we test it for continuity while lifting the idler pulley up off of the switch arm. If there's no continuity, then the belt switch would need to be replaced. If there is continuity, then there's one more thing we can check. If you made it this far after previous tests, then chances are that your dryer's motor is bad. But let's test it and make sure it's the problem. We're setting our multimeter to resistance, which looks like an upside down horseshoe. Then we're testing from the brown wire at terminal 4 to the yellow wire at terminal 5. We should see a resistance between 1.8 to 2 ohms. If the resistance is outside of this range, like we see here on this unit, then the motor has failed and should be replaced. If you found out that the motor was bad, let's replace it. To replace the motor, we're grabbing a 14mm socket and our dead blow mallet and removing the blower wheel nut. We are using our adjustable wrench on the belt pulley to hold the motor shaft in place while removing the nut. This is a left-hand thread, so we'll be turning the socket clockwise. Once the nut is removed, we're pulling the blower wheel out and setting it to the side. We're going to press down on the mounting brackets of the motor and pry them out to the side so the mounting brackets can be released from the motor mount. Now we're setting the brackets to the side, lifting the motor up and pulling it to the rear. Here's the old motor and here's the new one. If you've already got one, great. If not, you can pick one up at appliancepartspros.com. We're inserting the motor into the mount at an angle so that the drive shaft goes into the blower housing at the same time. Then connect the wires to the motor. We also need to grab the mounting clips and secure the motor to the mount. Now we need to put the dryer back together. We're grabbing our 14mm socket and installing the blower wheel onto the motor. Now we're reconnecting the thermal limiter wires. Once that's done, we're going to install the drum and belt and secure the belt to the motor and idler pulley. Then we can grab the front bulkhead, install it, and secure it with the Phillips head screws that we removed earlier. We're also reconnecting the sensor bar wires. Next, we're installing the lint filter housing. We're also going to go ahead and install that lint filter. We need to connect the drum lamp wires and then install the top plate before we secure the wire harness with the retainers. At this point, we can grab the front panel and guide it onto the bottom hinges, connect the door switch wires, and rotate it into place. Then it can be secured with the screws we removed behind the door and at the top. Now we're grabbing the console and setting it down in place. We're also guiding the wires through the top plate and pushing the console into place. Then we can use our Phillips screwdriver to rotate the main control back in place and secure it with the 3 Phillips screws that we removed earlier. Now we're grabbing our top panel, setting it on the dryer about 3 inches or so from the console, and then sliding it forward. We need to secure the top panel with the final Phillips screws, and with that, we're all done. Don't forget to plug the power cord back in or turn that breaker back on. Once you've found the culprit, whether it was a belt, motor, or any other part we've covered, make sure to have your dryer's model number ready and visit appliancepartspros.com. Most orders arrive within just a couple of days, so you can get your dryer working again in no time. And once you've finished the repair, we'd love to hear how it went. Feel free to share your experience in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.